Did everyone get a copy of the Kelpa stuff?
Yep.
So let's put it on the side with the dates, because I think let's start with that, and that kind of organizes.
We're not going to get scores this year.
What's that?
We're not going to get scores this year.
Why?
Well, because they're not going to the board until June, July, and August.
That's always been the case? Yeah.
But they're not going to release them to us till after their cut scores have been.
So what they've been doing the last few years is giving us the scores and say with an asterisk saying this has not been approved by the state board. And that's what I sent you in the spring. So I don't know if that's going to change or not. I don't have any insight. It could be that they don't release them because it's a new test and they want to massage the numbers.
Because it's a new test, they're really going to have to approve the cut scores.
Yeah. So, but let's start at the top of the sheet. What's the first thing?
Examiner's manual.
Yeah, the examiner's manual comes out at the beginning of January.
Yeah.
You want to look like
Okay, that's okay. I memorized it.
Oh, wow, what's that?
No, the examiner manual comes out. I think we have our PD. Usually in January we do that PD, that big PD on Kelpa. That's kind of our thing. But we won't have everything, so we may go through the ethics and security based on last year's. When does ethics and security come out?
January 31st.
Yeah, it seems kind of late to me, right? But that's where we have to sign off that we are going to be good test givers. Okay. The practice test, will be a new practice test so that we make sure we get kids through that sometime in January. It's supposed to be available January 6th. The one that I really want maybe highlight is the next one. Kelpa online training. What do you guys think that means? Watching hours of videos on. I think what it means is they're going to finally give us some guidance as instructors when we're doing the speaking and writing evaluations. It's going to be calibration or norming or however you put it. So that's what, I don't know if you guys, you know Nicole Prim, and you do now. She's the first person at KSD I feel is open to listening to anybody from the field. And that's not a slam on KSD. I mean, they're busy doing their other things. But we just kept lobbying and lobbying. Like, we don't know what a 3 looks like or a 2 looks like in Liberal versus Topeka versus even different buildings, that kind of thing. So I think that's what that piece is going to be. So I think that's going to be super important and helpful. Okay, the other big thing, when does the testing window open?
February 3rd.
Okay, do you guys want me to send you a monthly reminder that February 3rd is coming? Winter is coming, the Kelpa is coming, something like that. I don't want to stress you and the students out, but, and last year I learned my lesson, which was, I used to tell you guys, wait a week to start, but I did not count on so many snow days. So they got after us. Is it bad?
Yes.
Worse than last year.
Okay, so I'm going to recommend you get started on
Right
them.
away.
You might wait a day or two because it's a brand new test.
Is this earlier than last year, or is it always
It's the
first
same
week of
time.
February?
It's the first week in February, and it goes until when does the window close?
March 13th.
March, right? Yeah.
When are we going to have our scoring day?
March 10th. Decided.
Usually it's that Thursday, the 12th. We haven't set that in stone yet, but you guys know it's coming. When do you have to have all your scores done and turned in? Yeah,
March
when
27th.
March 27th. So if you are not finished with scoring,
The one thing I got from my dad is it's a real
that's when the last day is.
If not, I can look them
Now, here's my caveat. I know this is more Kelpa than you guys wanted. If we can get the speaking done a little early and scored a little early, because last year we had kids that the mics gave out and all this, we had time to go back and retest them. But after the 13th, we can't do that.
And the 13th is the end of spring break, so our real last day is the 6th.
Really? Oh, spring break's early this year?
I just realized their calendar.
Oh, then, okay, so we're moving our scoring, I don't know, I guess we'll do it after spring break? We'll do it after spring break.
We'll have to.
But if you got started on the speaking early, that would be great, in case you find a student that for some reason didn't record, and we can let the building know that the student needs to be retested.
Are we going to be getting more headphones and speakers this year? Because I feel like I'm woefully short.
No, we have one in school.
we?
That was just my personal one. Like, we
Okay.
have like a bag.
Okay.
Never mind. 'Cause
Okay, make sure she gets the bag. The other thing is we just ordered 120 headphones and speakers.
Okay, I want it.
Everybody gets them except Susie.
Do we get to keep the ones you just brought us though? Like
Are they
they're Eisenhower's? We're not giving it back. Can we put numbers in it? The interim?
Those are yours.
Okay, cool.
I haven't thought all this through. The tricky part for us is we have to test Scott Elementary, so I will have to take bags from you guys so we can go do that testing at Scott for that part of it.
Ours are gonna be clearly marked Eisenhower.
Okay, very good. Wait, I'm not doing a good job here.
You're doing great, Roger.
I did not explain this. Why are we talking about KELPA? If an administrator came in right now and asked you what we were learning today, what would you be able to tell her?
That our testing window is going to close right before spring break.
And why is that important?
Because we need to get it done.
Special responsibility.
Okay, next thing. I didn't tell these people. I'm going to put them on the spot real quick. So a few people went to Mid-Teasel. Any, like in 2 minutes, summary of what you learned, Mary? Anything special?
The keynote speaker was a neuroscience researcher, and
Oh my
there's some
God.
very, very cool information just on the biological brain and on trauma in the brain. I also have that book. I bought that book as well. So that was really cool. There were some interesting terms tossed around, SLIFE, and there was a lot of talking about kids who have had interrupted education, and there's some very cool strategies for addressing children who have large gaps in their formal education. So that was interesting. So it was great.
Could I get information on that? I haven't.
On the slide?
Yeah, I have a student in 7th grade that is illiterate in both languages because he missed so much education in El Salvador, and then they spent a
I'll
year.
find those presenters.
Then they spent
that
a
I
year
saw.
walking here, and so he's.
Yeah, I'll find those presenters that I saw because they had really specific strategies, especially for secondary.
That would be
students who have
very
had
helpful.
gaps. It was one of the last sessions I went to, and it was really interesting.
Was it Omaha Public Schools people? Or was it somebody else?
No, it was Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay. So,
It was Kansas City, Missouri, although almost Moscow.
yeah, the Omaha Public Schools has a really, they do newcomers and they do SLIFE. So when you have interrupted formal education, students with limited or interrupted formal education.
Yeah, I'd never heard it. Like, yeah, I'd never heard it before this conference.
Yeah, good. What'd you get out of it, Alyssa?
Huh. Trip to Omaha. It was great, and let's see, another thing that Mary and I went to had to do with some extracurriculars that were being offered. There was a session, let me think, I'm trying to make my brain work. There was a session where OPS folks talked about 2 different extracurriculars they do. One was more like a by invitation honor society type of thing, and it really revolved around government and civic engagement and academic high performance. And then the other one, and there was a second keynote the second day by the guy that kind of organized this, was more of a, what was it called again? Thrive. It was called Thrive, and it started as a
development.
yeah, and it started as a migrant student program and had really grown to be, I would say, more of a, all ELs are a more multicultural group generally, and they did leadership development and had a whole program and had built that up to where there were connected chapters at UNO, I think, and anyway, so they did some really good discussions around how they organized that, and there were a lot of students who talked about what they got out of that and why that was so beneficial to them, so we tried to connect with them and think about what, if anything, we could be doing at our high schools.
Yeah, I think one of the things, Coach whatever said was, and I find this true, our ELs don't participate in extracurriculars. The only one they kind of do is soccer, and then if there's, at least at Highland Park, the Spanish club is where the ELs go. Now, at Topeka West, the ELs do not go to Spanish club. Spanish club is for the kids learning Spanish. So it's got a different vibe, different feeling. Thrive,
We actually have 2 different things.
you do? What are they?
We have a heritage club, which is for all races of any Hispanic descent, and then we have a Spanish club.
Okay.
So there's two separate. Miss
Via Diego. was
Diego does
started
one,
second.
and then Miss,
It usually does.
Regal.
Okay. I didn't, yeah. What is it like at T High?
We do have ALATs, but I'm just trying to get the kids together, but.
Do you guys know what Halas is?
ALATs is Association of Latin American Students.
It comes from
But
universities.
What I like about what we saw in Omaha was that it brought in all ELs. And we've got kids from Micronesia, and we've got kids from Philippines, and we've got kids, we're more diverse. So it'd be nice to have something to pull them all in.
Yeah. So, and it's called Thrive Leadership. So it's trying to teach leadership skills to ELs when they don't feel like they fit in with other clubs and organizations. And
One thing that stood out,
That was- go ahead.
to piggyback on that, was he talked about how valuable it was for his migrant and refugee students to find a place where they had something to offer. They had some capital.
They do
to
community
give.
service.
Right, and so they did service work, they shared things about their culture with other groups, and so that was something the students remarked on too, that they felt like they had, not only that they gained from the experience, but that they had something to offer, and that was meaningful.
I think the other thing is they're kind of growing their own because the sponsor trains the kids up and then they take over the club. And then you're just helping them. That's that leadership piece. I don't know, at the middle schools, are there any clubs that ELs can join or that are suited for them or?
I think the dual language, they sort of do things that are like dual language celebrations or activity, once in a while, at least last year, I don't know, we have 3
But,
dual language.
so it was like a activity and then they got around that?
They did have
Sometimes.
movie nights, they had a few things.
Okay.
I had a group of newcomer girls play basketball. They're your kids now.
I know. They were
So
so cute last night
Hopefully
dancing.
they'll go out again. It was really good for them and they really enjoyed it.
So 2 of them are playing volleyball, Joshmi and Britzy.
Oh, good.
So I came to watch them.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't do volleyball last year, but they did basketball, so
Yeah.
encourage them to do basketball. And there were so many of them, as they rotate the girls in, at one time, they had all 5 of them in playing together.
Oh,
which
neat.
was really cool.
Oh, cool.
Soccer,
And
we're
we're
getting
getting
soccer.
soccer is going to be a big.
Yeah,
number.
we have soccer, just a few of the schools
They've
have it.
been crying for soccer for years.
Okay, so I don't even know what's going on. So there's a soccer team?
For the first year. The boys start Monday.
Oh, that's great. Very cool.
So they all decided to do the wrestling now.
So, reflections on Mid-Teasel for me, the same thing you guys said. So I was impressed with this. You guys know I'm kind of into the brain on learning, brain on education. And so it fit with that. I'm not sure about her conclusions, which was basically do meditation.
Yay.
Which is cool. And I haven't got through most of the book. I think there's a lot more to offer. I think she just decides what she's going to say about that piece. Then I went to Alyssa's presentation. It was on how to win a student writing award, right?
Kind of, not exactly.
No?
Well, I mean, it was on using writing contests for writing growth for EL.
It's how to make money writing.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's all about that.
No. Her presentation was excellent, and the steps that she went through to help those students get the, what was her name?
Wendy.
Wendy from Topeka West won the,
She was my Lemon Hill girl. I had her
Oh.
kindergarten through 5th grade.
so you're not surprised she did well?
No, I'm not.
Yeah. Hopefully we can get some more people to submit essays for that. Hint, hint, ESOL elective people, build it into the curriculum. No.
It comes at a nice time because it's right after Tell Lunch, when you desperately need something different.
I'm gonna do it.
And they're really reflective pieces. So if you have students going to college, it's that piece where how has my life been affected by immigration or my family or those kind. It fits with that. It also is just a chance for them to express themselves about stuff. So, and they get money. So, so again, I'm gonna I don't know if I'm getting this right, but that seemed to be a motivating factor, especially for the boys.
It
to
was,
write.
well, and I think the boys, my interpretation was the boys were very motivated by the contest feature. Like it was competitive.
Competitive
they
writing.
wanted to win, they could possibly win money, and they're very money motivated. It wasn't a lot of money, it was a small amount of money, but that was enough that they were motivated by that. And from the girls, I heard more about, is somebody really going to read this? Somebody, not just you, Miss Jones, but like a real person is really going to read this. And so that idea of an authentic audience and somebody cares what I have to say and all of that was motivating to them.
I think you're a real person.
Here's another thing, and I'm just going to, the Mid-TESOL Conference has travel awards. They have 2 for every interest group, so K-12's an interest group, and only 1 person applied, so they got it.
Yeah. Next year it's in Des Moines.
Yep.
Next year the conference is in Des Moines, and it's not difficult to put together a proposal to do something, and you don't have to do anything huge. There are ways that you can present that are like 20 minutes at a time, right? I did an ed tech
Poster
thing.
session.
You can do a poster session if you don't want to talk to a big group. There's lots of different ways to be a presenter, and then you feel good about asking for a sub day and for travel and whatnot. So I would highly recommend it. It's not too much work and it's a lot of fun to go.
Cool. The next thing I have on here is interims. That's what we ended up calling them. Have those happened? Where we at with? They're happening. Any reflections, feedback?
I haven't graded all mine yet.
Okay.
I didn't really, I just completely, I guess, passed it in my head, so but I just saw them on,
Yeah, they weren't there.
They weren't there right away.
and it said September, and I know, I just saw it on that one.
So, yeah, Emily, what are you doing with the?
I gave them,
What are they? When you say you gave them?
I gave the speaking.
Yeah. So there's a prompt, a speaking prompt on their favorite places, interesting places.
In your community.
And they have to just use 2 reasons to describe why it's interesting. And there's a
Support it, describe the place. And then
So middle school teachers, I'm referring you to these 2 if you have questions. Okay? So the idea behind the interims is just a chance to practice that's close to the KELPA. And if you look at the rubric, it looks very similar to what the rubric looked like for the KELPA. But it would be illegal to give the actual rubric.
So we did.
And then high school, did you guys do?
Yeah, we're in process.
Yeah, we know.
We're doing our speaking for quarter 1 right now, and at the end of quarter 2, we have a writing. We do it.
Okay, so it's something we're trying, and just another chance to practice. All right. Okay. Does everyone have their device? Are they logged into Pear Deck? So you're going to go to www.joinpd.com. Do not go to Pear Deck. Go to joinpd.com. So Pear Deck is where you put your Pear Decks in. Join PD is where you present them. How many people have used Pear Deck in class?
One time I did this.
Besides the factory?
Yes, I use, when I do my shelter of reading class, instead of making them do a quiz every single chapter, we'll do that and discuss, and then you can import their responses to Excel sheets. You can see what everyone responds. So,
It's in the corner. Okay, it's all right.
Oh, I was like, right, okay, now we're both.
So,
We gave them middle grade.
I was going to tell you guys. So every morning now I get up and I drive my little car to my little classroom at Highland Park and I teach freshmen, and I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate coming to work with you. I felt like I got in my little car, drove to my little room, but I'm not teaching freshmen, and that's awesome. Okay, so teaching's hard. I don't know if you guys know that. And then these people come in and say, use Pear Deck and use the swivel and da-da-da-da. And I'm just like, I don't want to kill these kids, and they're making me crazy. So there's only so much bandwidth that we have. So, all right. This is the book we're working from as a district. So, okay, this is one of those things. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to tell you this. So what happens is we have T&L meetings, and we do a chapter or 2. And then the PD comes up and we teach you those chapters or 2. That's the process so far. Okay, so I am not ahead of you. You guys are ahead of me probably on this. So again, I don't know what you've been getting in your buildings and how much training you've got on Teacher Clarity. So I apologize if this is too simple for you. if it's less than super helpful. But we need to be on the same page. That's what the district's trying to do with this.
You don't live your life.
Wake up. I'm supposed to tell you, so I'm following someone else's script. You're not going to get a copy of this. Your coaches have copies of it. Your principals have copy of it. If anyone's on the T&L, if they're a consulting teacher, they have a copy of it. So there are copies around.
The ELA, CMA team has copies too.
Oh, good.
I think all the CNA teams.
Okay, so the CNA teams have it. So you can find a copy if you need one. I'm supposed to tell you they're $25, $23. Okay. And then we're supposed to go through the norms. Thank you for arriving early and being prepared. I brought Chromebooks and I didn't even have to pass them out. You guys are so much better than freshmen.
They're not that bad. No. I haven't taken an hour.
Yeah, after they beat me up.
I had it last year.
They need to listen to my unit test.
You know what I'm dealing with. Okay, I'm turning my phone to vibrate. Stay on task and leave side conversations until the break. You have a bucket in the middle or a tote. If you have questions, write them down there, and we can. We'll put them here. Okay. When addressing the large group, stand and speak with confidence. That seems like a really weird norm.
I don't feel confident.
Actively listen and be respectful of others. The other one have you guys seen the norms for this, like there's a long list. This is just a few of them. But one that I really like is assume best intentions. So when someone's talking, don't assume worst intentions, which is our instinct. Okay, we're all trying to help each other. Okay, so we are learning to unpack standards into concepts and skills. Okay, if any of you guys have been alive and teaching since, what, like 2005 or 6 or 7, we've unpacked a lot of standards, so we get to do that again. And then we're going to understand the nature of learning progressions, and this is what's fascinating. This is where I'm really bad. I'm not good at this. This learning progressions thing, I'm terrible at. So I'm hoping to learn from you guys. Why are we doing this? Because they are critical for designing learning intentions and success criteria. So this is me again. Does that get you guys really excited? Haven't you been dying to do better learning intentions and success criteria? So then, you guys weren't begging for that? So that why doesn't turn you on, doesn't excite you, doesn't get you fired up?
I have a question.
Is it on?
Stand up.
Do you
With confidence.
do you remember when we had a conversation about what we should students? Because we were talking about behavior in hallways, right? When you were at the school last week, the week before, whenever. Is it reasonable to think that middle school students who are 11 years old are going to look at learning intentions and success criteria and actually get something out of it? Because I don't think so.
But that's why you do it at the beginning, and then you refer back to it and you close with it.
No, I use like
Sarcasm
5 minutes of my learning
I
time.
was on the same page.
Okay, hey, this is taking a turn. I need to bring it back because I'm a team player and we're on the team. So, and just to tease it, one of the modules is going to be on the why. Okay, that's not where our module is today, but it talks about different ways to motivate people. Okay, so I'm going to show you the next piece, and I think this is the piece that's supposed to get you excited. Less than this. Oh, whoops. here are our success criteria. Blah, 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 blah. Okay? I'll let you read them. I find these terribly boring. I don't think it's reasonable to expect 52-year-olds to read these and get excited. Okay, you're supposed to turn to your shoulder partner and ask them why these are important to learn. You have 52 seconds. Go. You can work as a group of 3.
They are part of our professional responsibility and ability. They're supposed to make our students. Agreed. I do post, I try to post. There's the learning agenda, and like short. I think it helps short.
Okay, 10 seconds.
I like that. Not so that they can recite them, but that's just focus, right? Like for me and for them.
All right, very good. Anything interesting come up? What are the 3 things we have to do today? 3 things we have to get done today? 3 things you're going to leave here with? Concepts, skills, progressions. Concepts, skills, progressions. These are really one thing. All right. So if you can leave here with those in your mind, it will have been a successful day. Okay. These are the elements of teacher clarity. Clarity of organization, clarity of explanation, clarity of examples and guided practice, and clarity of assessment of student learning. So far, has the session been organized clearly to you?
Sure.
Okay. Am I clear on my explanation so far? We'll see. Now, we're going to do some examples and guided practice later on, so you don't just sit and get. And then at the end, we'll have an assessment.
When it says both directions, can you explain the other direction based on what you have up there?
Yeah, so the idea is that formative assessment piece, right? So if I'm explaining things to you and then I notice that you're not doing it, then I need to find out what happened. So the students need to give you feedback on why your explanation worked or didn't work, right? And they give you feedback by being able to do it or not being able to do it. What it's trying to say is teachers plan lessons that they're going to deliver, push out, without thinking about the feedback they're bringing back in. Does that make sense? So clarity, you get to see whether you're clear or not by how the students behave and what they get accomplished, is kind of the idea. Let me read any other notes I have to go through here. So it says, for this part, every time you give an assignment, it should make sense to the students of where that fits in their learning. So later on when we start talking about progressions, they may not notice, but they can probably figure out that we're building off of this, the thing that came before it and before that and before that, that kind of thing. For explanation, is the information relevant, accurate, and comprehensible to the students? For examples and guidance, what do you guys know what we call this? So we have model, guided practice. What's next?
I do, we do, you.
Gradual release.
Yeah, so that's a big part of this book. So that's what we're going to model today. But I don't trust you guys, so we'll see. Okay. All right, sorry. Here's why you're supposed to be excited about teacher clarity. Have you guys become experts on this?
You've seen it a lot.
We've seen it.
Anybody feel comfortable explaining this to me? Remember, I got hit in the head a lot. I was a football player. I'm a dumb jock. What does this mean? I'm an English teacher. These are numbers.
Numbers are good. Don't be afraid of numbers. Numbers in this case represent the learning, and there's a number, I think it's about 0.4, that is sort of an average year's growth. If you do some decent teaching in there somewhere. And so you are looking for things that are added better than that. And so that zone of desired effects would be things that produce better than average learning or faster than average learning, hence the high.
Yeah, so 0.75 is way past 0.4. So this is supposed to give you more than a year's worth of growth in whatever you're teaching. It's a little different for high school because you may go from 0, I don't know how to sew, to, or I don't know how to cook, to I know how to cook some things. That seems like a lot of growth. But I don't know, it kind of depends on, or in business, I don't know how that works for you guys. I have no idea about accounting, and now I have an idea, or I don't have any idea how to start a business. No, I don't know your... Do you have what you think a year's growth or a semester's growth is supposed to be in there?
Yeah, semester's growth would be growth in accounting is the accounting cycle.
Okay, they know
So
it.
chapters 1 through 8. And there's chapter 8, we learned the accounting cycle.
So this is helpful to me. In accounting, is it step by step? I need to know how to do this before I can do that, before I can do that? It's very sequential.
And if you are lost on it, you're going to need to get together at seminar for a week.
Okay.
Because, yeah.
For language teachers, it works like that, right? I learn this, and then I learn this, and I learn this, and I learn this, and then I have the language, right? It's perfect. That's why Rosetta Stone is so successful. Because I just do those modules, and then I speak the language. Sorry. What's been your experience with learning a language? Is it sequential? You just getting better and better, or do you feel you go up and down and around and something new, and you're a beginner in this area and learning something new in this, or expert at this thing? And,
Yes. Ms. Lavin and I were just talking about like verbiage, or using verbs, that they are just very tough, even though I studied it.
oh, you mean conjugating the verbs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are rough.
That pesky. Yeah.
But yeah, you kind of bobble around, you keep that here, and next thing you know, you feel like it's pedaling backwards.
Okay, on the teacher clarity, this is why the district's excited about it. The principals and the leadership went to a presentation by Hattie, the guy that wrote the book on this. And what they're counting on is that the teachers weren't as clear in the past, and that's why students didn't develop as well. That if we improve teacher clarity, if students can understand not just what they're learning, but why they're learning it, that overall education will improve in the district. That's why it's such a big deal. And they're counting on this to happen. Does that make sense? So this is why you should be excited about this. You're going to teach better.
I'll be excited. But when Hattie does all this, is it on like 4th grade reading standardized? Like what growth? Do you know what I'm asking?
Okay, this is
That
a
can be
safe.
parking lot.
This is a safe space, so we can. Okay, if you dig into what he's doing, he just has his graduate students go through they pull out journals and just read them and decide, okay, this relates to teacher clarity. There's no, this is exactly what teacher clarity is. It's just, this relates to teacher clarity, and then they dump it into the database, and that's how they do their dissertations and graduate and become PhDs. So, I don't know, digging down.
Whatever. I don't think it's going to hurt anybody. It's just curiosity more how this came about. But okay.
Hey, Roger, just go back to the previous slide.
Hey, this is a one-way.
Yeah, this is where Shirley, or was it the one, no, it's one, go back one more. Shirley and I were talking, this is not student language, you know what I'm saying? When they look at this, like Shirley said, and you had us doing our little talk, we were talking about the fact you got this success criteria, you got this and this and this on the board, and they're kind of like, and just like you guys said, how many times are they going to look up at that, and this is not their language. Does that make sense?
This is for us, though.
But this is for us.
This isn't for them.
Yeah, but then how are we going to put it into their language?
We have to write their targets and their goals and the intentions we have for them in a language they understand. And I get the concept and I think it's great, but I think putting it into practice is another story, and I don't think that this is what's holding up our kids overall, personally, but safe space. I believe that.
So yeah, this was written for you guys. So
And I see what you guys are saying. You're saying, well, put them in the kids' language, but your objectives are not written in kids' language.
It's no different from the I can statements, though. We've been doing those for years. It's really the same idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only piece here that's a little, I can because,
Victory, I think.
I can do this because why it's important to do that.
I think that's also a little, I mean, going back when I was a math teacher, when we're having like I can statements written with technical terms, and I've got kids that were in my class at like a fourth grade level, they have no idea what hypotenuse means. And
Is that a real word?
yes, it is. It's
first
the
step in the
learning
learning
Okay, hey, again, save space. Don't bring your math in here.
But I'm saying.
I get enough of that at home.
When Alyssa's saying, like, what does this deal with like fourth grade standards? I mean, I get it, when you've got a class full, I mean, this isn't technically EL, we all have kids that are level pretty much, level. But when you are doing in a middle school classroom, I don't think this is as easy to make it kid-friendly language when you've got kids that are down here and kids that are up here.
So kind of what I'm hearing from you is that this might work for adults better than kids.
Yeah.
And it might work better for building leadership to come in and look on your board and see something than actually actually doing the teacher clarity piece.
I think it helps us become more intentional.
Right. So again, I'm going to go back. I think probably that this is a safe space. I think that's probably what's going on here. The walkthroughs are 3 minutes to come in your room and make sure that you had a point for that day and you had thought about how you were going to explain it to kids. Okay. The other, go ahead.
Well, I'm not even thinking about the walkthrough so much, but I know that when I put something up there, I see that, learning those vocabulary words is the first step in the learning progression. I say, okay, what does this mean? We got to know what this means. We got to know what this means. And, that's what I'm going over the first few days. Okay, what's the narrative? What is this? And so they were learning that academic vocabulary, and then we can check that off, and then we can do the next thing.
Okay. I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm even recording this. But Pam, how's that different than what you did before?
Well, no, how's it different? Well, it's making me think through the learning progression.
Okay.
better.
Then
I'm
I would
just
say
beginning
for the
to-
district, for your building, then it's doing exactly what they want. None of you, but you guys know teachers in your building that are really, really weak and put very little effort in, right? And then they're using the same slides they used 15 years ago and turned to this page, and they haven't thought it through at all.
But Roger, they still don't. They write it up there and,
They're just complying.
yeah,
Yeah.
they still don't.
Angie, I am with you, but at least it's you only have, it's a stick. Yeah, not a carrot. Okay, this is what I think is exciting. What does this mean to you guys?
Teacher efficacy.
I actually haven't seen that
You're
yet.
giving me the freedom to teach.
Well, look where the arrow is. What does that tell you?
Yeah.
Broke
Real high.
Okay, so that doesn't get me excited. What would get me excited is how do I get
You're there. You're doing it right now. This is you guys right now. Getting together, talking about what you're doing, what seems to be working, what isn't working. That's teacher collective efficacy. You guys working together. What happens in lots of buildings, and for lots of different reasons, is that people get siloed, right? They're in their room, especially some buildings, it's not appreciated for you to talk to other teachers. If you come in and say, hey, you're supposed to be doing read aloud with the ELs, right? You're advocating for your students. You should be reading the test to the student when they take the test. And what you get back is hostility. I wish that wasn't an actual case going on right now. Then you don't want to be, you don't want that, that's not collective efficacy. That's the opposite. That's shutting things down, right? But in this room, and why we need the space is let's get together, let's try to figure this stuff out. So regardless of what we do over here, Right now, you guys are talking together, getting better ideas, and building your community. And that's, so our job's really tough because we're either one or two people in lots of buildings. It's hard to get together, so we are using this time to do that.
I have a question about that. You were talking about doing a read aloud, and I know Ms. Jones is great about emailing us with students who maybe need some additional. But if you have a classroom of 28 students, and maybe 4 of those need that, and you're one teacher, how do you make that happen? Because you don't want all those students together, maybe not that they
So this is how I
cheat,
make it
but if
happen.
you're reading the full-
I just go through, I know these kids are going to be all right. I set up the room for testing, which is, regular testing. I go to the back. I pull the 4 or 5 kids that I have to read the thing to the back, like a reading group. I can keep an eye on these and read to these. Okay? So that's how I do it. And what really helps is it keeps the kids on track because there's that cognitive load. And when they're trying to think and answer questions, it's easy for them to start getting distracted and never finish the test. What I found is at least they finish the test.
My concern is if you're one teacher reading to them, cheating has happening over here maybe.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I
All
don't
right,
have
so
it, but
that's a whole nother thing because I don't set up there's no cheating in my class, right?
Yeah.
Other than talking to other people. So you can use all available resources on every evaluation because that's how real life is,
Okay.
right? So I let them use their notes, their books, Google, whatever it is to answer those questions. But then I have to write good questions, right?
Yeah.
I have to write more than DOK 1 questions,
Right.
right? So I need to ask you, what is your opinion of this? Or what would you do in this case? Or this is an example of this on those tests. But that's a whole nother thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I have also just read the test aloud to a room full of people, and all of them don't read it, but it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've done that when
That
I
would be
taught
another
like
way.
English 9, and I've had a cluster of kids who need it read aloud, and other kids who would be fine, and just build that, like, look, guys, if you need to listen, and if you don't, send me out and answer at your own pace, and they actually are fine.
Jackie, the other thing I have with me is I have a translation of the test. So when they ask me the question and they ask me in Spanish, what is this asking? I can translate it. That's another level to it. But that's because my class is special.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, give me your response.
I can't see the screen, but I have the answer here. I've tried to read.
Well, just read it up here.
Yeah, I was like.
I wonder what that's about. That's never happened.
Yeah.
Gosh, Jackie, you are so special.
I haven't missed it.
Thank you for being.
Read it.
Okay, in what ways might our current practices contribute to teacher collaboration? The way we have things set up, PLCs, PD days, all of those things, how do they lend themselves to collaboration? How might we strengthen them? How might we get more teacher collective efficacy? How might you work better with other teachers? Work more, work better, have stronger connections to other teachers. I think this is a super important question. I joke a lot, but I'm not joking about this part. And since we do have the misfits, and I don't know, do FACS teachers get together? Do business teachers get together?
Every Thursday morning.
Well, in our building,
During our
yes.
collab.
No, I mean with other buildings.
Oh, no. I thought you meant just us collabing.
Not unless you're in the CTE
Yeah,
meeting.
no, CTE meeting, well,
It's
like today.
Sometimes we get time, not all the time.
So
I'm
maybe,
shocked today we're not together.
is there anything we could do to make it so that you knew what the business teachers at Highland Park and T High were doing? Something like that. Because nobody else in this building is going to be able to talk to you guys. You're specialist. It's just like them. You can kind of talk to foreign language people, you can kind of talk to language arts people, but it's not exactly the same thing.
It's just there as a response.
Well,
They like to post it.
Oh, they can just text it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I adore you guys.
We're the best.
Maybe lots of responses?
Everybody's responding. That's amazing.
Did you think we were just gonna sit?
Listen.
You know we're not freshmen.
Hey, I don't want to call out certain buildings when I do PD things there, but I might get half-ish to respond. And I'm not asking them hard things. Because, Susie, I know this doesn't happen at Eisenhower, but at some buildings you're forced to go to collaboration, and then you're forced to listen to whoever's going on and on there, no matter how interesting it is. And so they just tune out. And then I've let you open up your computers, and so that just sends them off on. Anyway, thank you. Okay, I'm going to move on. Okay. This is the Teacher Clarity Playbook that we already talked about. If you click on this link, it should take you to the Corwin page on the book. Is it working?
Yeah, you get a redirect first, but it does go.
So, if you're one of these great students that wants to work ahead, you could work through all of this stuff on your own. Okay? That's what good students do. Okay, please come back to our PD. Come back to our PD. Come back to our PD. To Paradigm.
Yes, sir.
Okay, have a look at this picture. What do you see? I feel like an English language artist. No, not it.
Somebody's thinking, right.
Okay, if you look at this picture, what is this supposed to be? What's the picture supposed to be? Is it a
I
student?
think a teacher, or I see a whistle, somebody in charge.
Okay, I didn't get this at first.
Oh.
But tell me, maybe you guys get it in a way I don't.
It's like a playbook type deal at the bottom.
Yeah, that's why I'm like,
Well, is this their brain open? That's kind of gross.
I was thinking their mouth yelling or eating all of those things. Spitting.
Yeah, so she's writing like all of the standards and it's like,
So this is a teacher.
Yes.
This is what's going on in your brain as a teacher.
Overload.
I can
Popped open.
and then the rule.
It should be on your, you should have the screen if it doesn't work. Okay, so module 1, concepts and skills. I know the facts and how to apply them and when to use them. Nouns are concepts. So this is the language arts part of me. Concepts are nouns. Skills are verbs, which is a really weird way to put that, but it works for what they want us to do. And I don't know, I remember doing this for hours and hours and hours in the past. So anyway, I thought the picture was kind of interesting. So we got to analyze the standards. We need to know about prior knowledge, what the students already know, and then what a student needs to know and be able to do, nouns and verbs. Let me read this. A simple glance through a standards document is not sufficient to teach those standards and create rigorous lessons with learning intentions and success criteria. Teachers must be able to unpack standards, identify essential content and knowledge and skills for the students to be successful. A useful method for determining the concepts students must master and the skills they need is the skills students need to attain is to analyze the standards for nouns and verbs. Man, I'm a good teacher. So, I have a handout for you. Can you help me? Can you help me pass these out?
Who's looking at? I'll help him.
Whoever.
Do it. I'm a teacher. I don't mind.
I might put a little EE one in after.
So that makes me happy.
I have students, I'll help you hand this out.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
You're a troublemaker around here.
Oh, really? Well, I didn't, okay, cool.
I got it.
Badly designed.
Okay.
Did you guys do it? At our actual table? Who's missing?
Did I mess up already? Okay. Before we start the next part, I'm supposed to show you this video.
Okay.
Maybe. Oh, speakers. Uh-oh.
I know we've been working on our World War II unit, so I thought we'd break down one of the standards here and just go through those steps that's been so helpful to us to plan and making sure we're having the best lessons. Did you all got that email I sent out on the 11.7, the standard? Okay, so I'll just read it out loud just to review. It's students analyze America's participation in World War II. Yeah. So to break down that standard as we've done, it's been helpful for us to look at like the concepts and skills our students need, and we kind of broke it down. Was that helpful I think that was helpful for us to look at it that way.
Yes, I definitely think it gave us structure and it gave us a focus as a team to be able to really look at the standards and what we were going to focus on for our students.
What about the skills do you think the students need in this? Looks like analyze.
Analyze is a great one.
Yeah.
Especially as you look at that DOK, the DOK wheel. I think this standard really lends itself to that.
Yeah.
So I think that will be perfect for that.
Yeah, I think those are probably the big ones there as far as the concepts and skills. So I think we can keep those in mind as we go forward, thinking about our learning progressions now.
We're going to be able to take them through that standard really thoroughly, but also give our students a chance to know, be participants in the learning. So I agree. I think breaking it from the intentions and the progressions makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
The history teachers took the time to be able to look at and parse the standard that they were going to be taking apart. They looked at the nouns and the verbs in the standard itself in order to be able to identify the concepts and the skills. That kind of clarity of thinking, that kind of clarity of the process really helps the group to move forward very quickly. I've seen lots of groups that have spent way too much time trying to figure out what a standard really means. And what the history group was able to do was to be able to hone right in on nouns and verbs and get their planning moving forward. They identified concepts by looking for the nouns that were in the standards, and they identified skills by looking at the verbs. It's really a very simple and elegant way to be able to unpack that standard.
Okay, so this is our model. That was your guided. Now it's your turn as a group. Okay? So this document I just gave you is, I kind of like these. This is from Language Arts, but this is one standard from pre-K through 12th grade. So we're gonna use it for a couple of exercises. Progressions. Okay, but right now, find your grade level and unpack the standards. So what I mean is, if you guys can decide, just pick one. So if you're a 8th grade teacher, unpack this standard. So write down the nouns and verbs. Does everybody understand?
Yeah, sure.
That's okay. What do you understand? What do I want you to do?
Well, you said your K through high school fine art grade.
What grade do you teach? So turn it over. Do you see the 9, 10, or 11, 12? Got it? Okay, and then it's going to look like kind of like this. You're going to write the standard in here, and then write down your nouns, the concepts, and your skills, which are the verbs. Oh, I didn't get you one of these? Thank you.
We are really paying attention and learning
Man,
stuff.
if I can teach the business teachers how to do this stuff.
You can teach anyone, I swear to God.
Now, hey, since we're here and you guys, if you wanted to pull up your standards and do this, you could do it. And we'll have time at the end. Again, this is kind of a generic thing, but or if you just want to practice now. So what did you guys decide? 9th grade? Do I circle? Circle verbs. Underline.
Okay.
And then on here, you're supposed to write that in here and then write down.
Well,
And then we were just talking about what would be the nouns and what would be the...
Okay, so what are the verbs?
The verb is demonstrate or use.
You can circle it or underline it or whatever you want. And then we have a bunch of verbs, a bunch of nouns.
Right, so we would say these here are...
Conventions,
Yes.
capitalization, punctuation, spelling, and writing. Yeah,
Yes.
perfect.
Yes, even spelling.
Okay. And then we got, down here we got use and use,
Right.
which will go over here, and spell.
Right.
And then we have semicolons,
So-
independent clauses, colon. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You're done?
Yeah, we got that.
Okay. All right. All right. How well do you feel like you can unpack standards now?
Pretty good.
I got it. I don't got it. I'm somewhere in the middle. This to 5. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, everybody better have 5s.
Well, here's with the whole learning intensive initiative that I'm most confused about is, I know this is like the process of everybody. And it's not that we're supposed to have this perfect and we're figuring this out, but sometimes okay, here's a learning standard and this is what we're doing today. But then it's like, okay, I put something up and it's like, well, this is like the rest of the quarter. It's like, how big is that standard, supposed to be? How much do you break it down on the board?
Okay. Hey, do we have elementary teachers in here? Do we have an elementary teacher in here? How do you do it in elementary school?
When you break down the...
Yeah, when you write your learning intentions, I can statements, how do you break those down?
Well, when I started in Holcomb, we used to have what it was called content objective and
Language yeah.
objective, and it's like how and the why. So I would like for you to do this because of, and this is how. So it's breaking down into this is what I want you to do.
But, so you have a big standard, how did you do it for the day?
For the day, in little chunks.
Just little chunks?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So the way it was explained to me is in elementary school, this happens all the time. This is how elementary schools have worked for quite a while. In that you have the big standard and then they pick the thing. So when I was looking at the CDMs for elementary school, on the side where it has I can do this and that, it's just this long list. It's 25 I can statements, which is not really how we've done it in high school, so I don't understand it real well. But I thought, oh, that's interesting.
Well, like even the one we were working on, demonstrate command and convention with standard English capitalization, punctuation, spelling, and writing. That could be, if you were doing all those things, that could be up there for weeks,
Well, that doesn't change year to year. That's years.
Like a whole new content objective, just for spelling.
Yeah, I mean,
One
I'm just
for
working on
capitalization.
and punctuation, because kids still don't, you know, kids truly don't understand
How war principles.
how, what a sentence, how to put a period, where a period goes. You know, they write on and on and on and on. And I had a kid tell me, oh, you mean when you get to the end of the paper, period? Or when you press enter, you know, so they'll put one period at the end of the paragraph.
That seems like pretty true.
So I mean, just breaking that down and working on that, could take, you know, a little while.
We got told in our.
It's a tiny, tiny part of this standard.
We got told at the start of the year in training, and then again, our principal has also reiterated, you can have the same standard of it, you can work for a long time.
As long as you differentiate with questioning. So
With question?
questioning,
Like-
like an essential question.
So the question has to change, but not the standard? Something like that? Okay. All right. Yeah.
Anyway, it's just an ongoing.
Okay, I have another thing. If my intention is to have a writing thing and I tell them about, hey, you didn't capitalize this word, have I hit the standard? That is every single day.
Yeah.
Right? But if I say, here are the capitalization rules, proper nouns, beginning of sentence, maybe, I don't know, there's something there.
And you know, I'm working on more than just writing too, perhaps. You know,
I know, and I had to pick something, and I'll be honest with you, for what I was doing, these were the meatiest ones with the most. And again, my other intention here was we're going to talk about progressions, and I think this helps us kind of see what the state thinks the progression should be a little bit. But we're going to get, this part was super easy for me. The next part about progressions, not so easy for me. It's not how I think. Now, what's cool about our subject area as the elective is we have progressions from ESOL, newcomers, fundamentals, to 1, to 2, to 3, and thinking about that progression, which we've done a lot of, right? We have that background knowledge of, you know, these kinds of things. But I always thought of teaching techniques rather than these progressions, like more sentence stems. We're still writing a narrative, but the beginners get more support, and we scaffold less as we go. That's how my mindset was, not they have to have this skill before they can go to this skill, before they go to this skill, kind of thing. So anyway, I'm going to keep pushing on because that's what they expect. Oh, sorry. Did it move on yours?
Yeah. Are you still in the video screen? Do you have to go back to the other?
I got to find my cursor. So this is what we just did. I gave you these. I decided to only give you the writing 11 ones. I think if you click on these, it'll take you to the website I used, or the PDF. Okay. Oh, well, anyway, okay. I got so much to tell you. Okay, it's going to ask you what challenged you on doing this kind of thing, and how do skills relate to depth of knowledge? So.
I think
Oh.
that depth of knowledge stuff, part of this.
I didn't put a slide in there for you guys to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, I did, okay, sorry.
Part of the struggle with this is that strategic and extended, it's particularly extended thinking, right? Like I'm thinking deeply about all this, and is kind of at odds with one of the ultimate goals of your language acquisition, which is automaticity, right? Where I'm not having to think about it, it comes easily to me. So those things seem to me to be a little bit at odds. Does that make sense?
No.
So
I don't understand.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, no, that's okay. So thinking about skills, if I have high-level skill in accounting, okay, I'm going to be thinking deeply and clearly about accounting and doing my accounting, and strategically about how I might do my accounting better or use it more effectively or what have you, and even what new directions I might be able to go in my accounting and so on. And it will be the focus of my thinking as I'm trying to use it. Whereas, for the sake of English language development, really trying to get to a place where I'm not having to think about my language use all the time, that it's much more natural and automatic. So that automaticity being
Fluency,
the goal.
yeah.
Yeah, the fluency, right? Versus what would happen if I used a conditional instead of a, I don't know, some other mode, right? Like I don't really want to be doing that kind of thinking. I want to have it, I don't know. It's
So
not,
listen, when you speak Spanish,
I'm not there. I have to think really hard about it all the time.
right, that's a cognitive load and all that,
Yeah.
yeah. But when you're doing it, do you think, oh, I need to conjugate this verb?
Yeah.
Or are you just going, how do I say past tense? Or what goes through your head?
Well, I'm a language teacher, so I do think, all right, I need what was the future conditional for that in the, is it A or is it O? Like, I think about it that way, but I think that's fairly unusual.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think in a conversation, you're just trying to get your meaning across, and
Yeah.
so you worry less about those details. But when you're in our class, we're trying to get you to worry about
Yeah.
the details kind of thing. Maybe. I don't know if that...
I'm not sure how much I believe DOK 3.5 to 4 applies to language learning.
Okay, when you look at the verbs, do you see a progression there? Or here?
Well, in our collaboration this week,
What'd you
we had a
learn?
big deal on DOK, and it's not about the verb.
What's it about?
What they kept pounding. It's not about the verb. It's not about the verb.
What is this saying? I did not write this. What is this saying? Is this the opposite of what you just said?
Well,
Do you understand this to be the-
You're looking at the verbs. Well,
Okay,
if they
what
were
did-
driving into us, well, what is it?
What is it about
You can
then?
say explain and have it a DOK 1 question, or you can say explain and have it a DOK 4. So it's not about explain. It's about what the whole thing is. So yeah, I'm just telling you, we get all this conflicting crap, so just letting you know.
Well, I wouldn't know anything about that, so I'm just doing the best I can. That's
All I know
interesting.
is I teach kids that can't put a noun and a verb together, and I don't know how they expect me to have my test have DOK 3 and 4 questions on it, but they wanted to. was the
Okay, Roger, to your
collaboration
question about,
session that I had this week.
do we see progression in the verbs?
I don't.
No. There's the same verbs over and over again, but they, like use is going to go with a comma, or it's going to go with an ellipsis or dash or hyphen, right? So the nouns are changing, but not the verbs.
Well, what's the
This is
difference?
it.
I'm sorry. What's
In
the
this
difference? Demonstrate and use.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. And literally, it's the same one over and over. It's demonstrate, 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 use. Spell, 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 spell.
All right, I might move on. That wasn't supposed to be a head scratcher. So let's go back to our success criteria at the beginning. Did we differentiate concepts and skills? Concepts are?
Nouns.
Skills are? Oh, man. Did we look at some examples?
Yes.
And did we apply the process? Good. Is this different DOK levels?
Yes.
Right? This piece where you wrote them down, what DOK level would that be?
If you just wrote them down.
Where you wrote down nouns and verbs. As long as you know what nouns and verbs are, was it hard?
But you can say it was categorizing, and so then you can say it's a 2.
It's a 2. Okay. Now applying the process, that's really, and we're going to go into deeper now. So, all right. Man, I'm feeling good about myself as a teacher. Okay, sequencing learning progressions. This was really hard for me. Did I do something wrong?
Nope.
Okay. So let's look at this picture. Is everybody on the right page or on the? Look at the picture. Again, total mess. I don't get it. Maybe this makes sense to you guys. It doesn't make much sense to me. So, can you? What is this?
There's another coaching game called.
Summer camp.
We're camping.
So
I don't know why.
you're under the.
I think it's a circus tent.
And the light is learning.
No, they're probably in like white.
The standards are in the 10.
The 10 is very menacing.
It does, it's the dark black.
Oh,
inside.
wait, maybe I'm getting this.
Shirley had a good example I thought about,
One
like
of
we were
them
talking
you
about
get
the
in.
difference between demonstrate and use.
Uh-huh.
I can use a knife in a kitchen, but can I demonstrate how to use it correctly?
Like teach someone else to do it?
Yes, or use it correctly. So somebody can come in and say, I know how to use a knife. I can
Weird
cut
light
a
shower
potato.
after the darkness.
But are they going to do it correctly? Are they going to get
All within
and
6
that's-
hours.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? That's
Yeah.
what I see there.
There's some hills there.
Okay, I'm gonna.
So let's see. So you're using a knife to cut tomatoes.
I'll be right back.
Demonstrating would be, I can show a teacher that I know how to cut tomatoes
And do it correctly.
correctly without
And
keeping all my
and like-
fingers.
Like, right, yeah, that
All
knife
that.
skill, holding the knife correctly, et cetera.
Hold on one second. You let children in high school hold knives?
Yes.
I have new respect for you.
Big knives, sharp
And-
ones.
Oh, actually, where's Miss Labrador? Miss Labrador had her knife out yesterday. I don't know what you're doing at the end. I could only see her. She was walking around with this knife talking to students like this. You can.
Put across, didn't she?
Did they have terrified looks
Yeah.
on their faces?
No, all smiles. They know how to act. They're very scared.
I don't know, but somebody wet their pants. No. I think I finally got this one. Sorry, I'm dense. I think I got it. What do you guys think it is, though? What's it supposed to be demonstrating here?
A function machine.
A pathway towards success.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like this is hiking. So you're hiking to get back to your camp or to the camp or to that kind of thing. I think. I don't know. These pictures mess me up.
Can you explain the golfing at the end? Like that's for golf.
No, that's just putting a flag in that I know how to do this. But I have to go through this rocky path through the forest
Well,
to get to my.
To get to the camp by following the standards, and once you follow the standards, you get out with your learning intentions and all of that, and then you're.
Oh, I got it. And so the learning intentions, the light coming on, this is why we're learning this?
Yeah, so it's guiding you, like, here's the light, go through the tunnel.
And then you get to go in and take a
Oh, this is. Oh.
You go in and out, like an in and out thing.
But I think the mastery is the
Oh, so these are the standards. They're dark.
See, it's a scary
We have to try to figure this picture out.
It's
Okay.
in the dark, so the learning.
You guys have helped me so much because I feel like they put these pictures in thinking it would make sense to everybody, and it doesn't really. They haven't made a lot of sense to
The
me.
intentions bring it to
We
life.
can do this for the whole
That's
day. Take your photos, prints.
See,
Good
did
for
you
your
hear
brain.
that?
Your intentions bring the light to the standards? Wow. Are you a poet?
Yes.
I'm gonna borrow this.
I feel like there was something in there to address. Okay.
I like the plan backward at the bottom though. That makes sense. Take the standard and work back.
Okay. This is. Did you go to the CNA thing? Okay, this made no sense to me. I'm just trying to follow the breadcrumbs.
This is when you take the standard and you have to write a list of progression. That's what we did in our last.
Okay, let me show you this.
We had to actually write.
Yeah, but that's not what's going on here. Let me show you the next one. Oops. I was trying to find the reading that I was supposed to give you guys. I didn't find the reading because the next part is this piece. Oh, I took it out. The next part was like, check your reading, but I didn't find anything to read.
It was an article. Did they not give you an article?
Ah, okay. There was no link to an article, and when I went into the
There was an article.
when I went into the folder, I couldn't find an article. So someone, okay, you guys aren't getting the article. I apologize. Oh. I will give you more handouts, though.
I'm down with that.
Hey, anybody need to get up and move?
Sure. Hey, one side pod.
Help me pass this out. Who said yes?
I'll take a break.
No, no breaks. Take breaks on your own. You want to do it? Here,
Yeah,
pass
go
these out.
for it, dude. I don't want to do it. Oh, now you gotta work.
Standing up. But okay.
Too late.
Well, you can stand up and pass out papers. Oh, I am very sorry. The bathrooms are right here. And just take your breaks when you need them. Okay.
Okay. Oh, it's this that I'm on, intermittent fasting.
Nope, not it.
Well, it was like 3 hours. Let's see, what's good for me is I don't have to have whatever I want. And it should be lower, let's see, more constant. Blood sugar stays level. Well, you only eat in an 8-hour window and then you fast for 6 hours.
That's not what I want.
So
Sorry, I should have had this pulled up.
see, I normally have 30 lunch and I gotta eat until 12:45. Why, you know, I've
All right, so can everybody look at this page? So the standard is cite strong and thorough textual evidence to support analysis of what the text says explicitly, as well as inferences drawn from the text. And this is a generic language arts standard, but we have the same one, the Kansas one. I mean, the RESL one is the same. So these are their nouns, these are their verbs, and then this is their progression. So please look at the progression. And take any notes of anything you think should be added or whether you think it's in the right order. If you were teaching someone to cite evidence, all right. You feel like you got through them? Okay. What are your thoughts about this progression? Does it make sense to you?
Mostly. Well, number one could just be what we do entire.
I'd move themes, but otherwise it makes sense to start with like what happened in the story, who are the characters, what's the setting. I don't think themes goes to the beginning, but otherwise.
So you do have to invert.
Okay, so real quick, in language arts, there are standards that cover theme, there are standards that cover plot, there are standards that cover character, and this setting kind of gets thrown in there. There's not a set, but those are part of reading, and there's standards related to that. So when I read this, my first thought wasn't this, right? So I'm just talking out loud where I'm coming from. I didn't really think about this. Now the second one just like threw me off.
Well, that at least comes directly
So-
from the standard. It says inferences drawn from the text, so you have to draw the inferences first.
Well, let's do this right now. What guy, like you've been in the session for a long time now. What inferences can you draw on my attitude towards this lesson?
It wasn't your initial choice.
You have some resistance. You also have some level of curiosity.
You're singing someone else's song.
Part of the team.
That's not an
There's
instance.
text
You
evidence.
said that directly.
That's true.
Twice.
Yeah.
That's true, that's evident.
Like the idea behind it, but not 100% clear on it yet.
You were definitely
I
not
think you
willing
like
to
it.
claim it as your own.
Yeah, you like some of the things, but don't understand where it's going.
What did you say? Man, she's right in my head. Wait, I think you might be projecting. Okay, look, the only point I have for you guys is you can all draw different inferences. Okay, none of you are wrong. There's my Elmer's thing, maybe. I do like to eat. This was really weird to me. Just like it's some kind of magic thing that you just tell kids to make inferences. That's super hard. And then the inferences they draw may be completely wrong.
Yeah.
Like some of you seem to think that I have some like negativity towards what we're doing, which is completely wrong.
But that's why you have text evidence to support it. You can have different claims, different, but that's why we use text evidence to support it. So that we aren't just out in bulk, all over the place. It's not, you can't have an opinion, any opinion. You have to have an opinion that can be supported from the text. That's why we do this.
And one of the things you showed us earlier said that it was about, perception is about experiences, and so we've all perceived something a little bit differently today. And it's the same thing with inferences, like what she's saying right now. I mean, kids get different things out of the same text. So I get that.
But not all of them are responsible.
Interpretations. Some of them
There are
make
better
absolute
inferences
sense,
than worse,
but-
And some of them are based on misunderstandings of words or sentence structure, or because of their experiences. But by asking them to cite textual evidence, that's how you get closer to valid interpretations.
I think part of this too is that, if you're looking at this as a grade level 10 standard, right? That's built on the idea that your kids are walking in with 9 or 10 grade levels of experience and knowledge. And so to be able to do the grade level 10 standard, you have to assume that they can read the text, they can comprehend it. Comprehension is based on being able to make logical inferences and, monitor it. So there's this huge bedrock of prior knowledge and skill that is being hinted at by 1 and 2, right? Before you start doing the stuff that's more explicitly the 10th grade standard stuff of create a claim and find evidence to support it and explain your reasoning and whatnot. So I feel like 1 and 2 are their way of articulating, hey, this is what you already need to have, but we have to acknowledge that you probably don't. So we're going to spend a good amount of time working on these things before we can ever do these others. You can't create a logical claim and support it if you haven't first been able to read and understand the plot, characters, and setting of the text.
Is that why you were asking us about this to begin with? Because it sounded like, and for me personally, when it says cite strong and thorough textual evidence, okay, well, just citing, has nothing to do with 1, 2, and 3. That comes later. That's a different step to me. But I understand why you would have to do those other things before you can do that. So it is progression.
Citing
yes.
as pointing to or citing as, MLA? How are you using that?
Citing as pointing to, saying this is what I mean. Which, for me personally, I wouldn't include 1, 2, or 3 in the standard. I would start with 4, maybe 5, probably 4. But I understand that the other parts of that are necessary before you get there.
And we certainly can do all this at 6, 7, and 8 with a more readable text for them. It's all about text complexity. There's no reason they can't do this standard.
Well, and it exists at lower grade levels too.
Yeah.
It doesn't begin at 10.
That's why we have ESOL classes, so they can read text at their level well.
Yeah, but I think as far as drawing inferences, that's a skill we just do all the time. In fact, every time we're listening or reading, we're predicting the whole time and drawing inferences. We can't help ourselves, right? And it's probably I'm going to go back to the brain, it's probably a safety thing. Like I have to read the environment all the time and try to figure out what's going on here, that kind of thing. But, okay, my main point was your progression list may look completely different. Maybe not completely different, but very different. Or what makes sense to you may not make sense to other people. The reason I'm telling you that is the next thing that we do made no sense to me. Okay. And the way that, I feel like the way the book presents it as, oh, here you go. This is like DOK 1. And this is like DOK 10 to figure out what progression, and then for each kid where they are in that progression or something like that. That seems really, 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 really super complex. So let's move on. I think turn the paper over. And there should be two examples here. One where you just put in numbers, and the other one where you kind of come up with some learning progressions. And I'm going to give you time to work on this. With the caveat is nobody knows what the hell they're doing, and it's okay to get it wrong. Because I do have some teachers in here, or people in here, that are perfectionists, and if they get it wrong, it's going to bother them all day. Okay. Own it if that's you. At the same time, don't just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and be done with it.
Side note, Becky said hi.
She did?
Yeah.
She's a nice lady. And then if you're like me, did you read the bottom part already? The dark letters at the bottom? So as soon as I got it, I just turned to page 124 and wrote down the answers because I use all available resources. And there is no way I'm going to answer this. Well, here's my actual one. There's no way I'm going to answer this.
Maybe I was projecting my resistance.
All right. Did you guys get through the first one at least? Did you get through the history one yet?
No. You've been talking.
Well, you're right. I guess you can know the limitation.
This would be easier if there were strips that you could rearrange.
Yeah,
So you're a kinesthetic person?
No, but this would be easier. Putting things in order if I could actually see what it looked like if it went, 1, 2, 3 versus 3, AQV versus BQA.
All right. Let's do this collectively. The smartest person in the room is the room. What is the first one in the progression?
Understand.
Identify.
I don't know, I think
So I heard, was it identify and I heard explain? No. What was the other one?
Understand.
Understand. Is it okay if I do identify?
Is your first? Yeah.
We're just making this up. So if this is 1, we'll say this is 2. Do you understand? What would be 3?
Is it the recognize? Yeah.
Right.
But I would look.
Okay. It doesn't matter. We're just going through it. What would you have next?
First one, how about that? I would do grade school.
Describe, explain, or enumerate.
Although shouldn't we have done explain as
Describe the role of.
So I'm going to go here. Can people live with this? How many do you think now, as self-evaluators, if I look at this, how confident I'm going to pass this test am I? Okay, so we don't really know. We're just kind of blindly doing this because we're being told to. Okay, hopefully this one works. Here are the answers, because I know that's important. Emily.
No. Oh, I got one right. Oh, nope, I didn't even do. I was wrong.
I got one right. These two I flipped.
All right. when you see the new order, does it make more sense to you? It didn't make any more sense to me. I wasn't any closer to it.
Well, I actually feel better. Mine were closer.
I didn't get any closer to it. I'm sorry. This left, this, as a learner, this left me very frustrated.
In your module that they talked about, did they do any kind of distinction between like a linear progression of skills and a recursive model of learning?
Spiraling?
Right. Did they
No.
talk about that at all?
No.
Okay, because I feel like that's the big disconnect. If it was something like, I'm going to need to solve a two-step equation, I think I could identify, okay, I'm going to need to know this before I know this, before I know this, and that would make a lot more sense to me. Whereas anything as big as understanding how a government works, anything as big as can I read and analyze a text, like it doesn't feel like it's ever going to work that way to me.
Is anyone else?
About math versus everything else.
Well, I mean, I hate
And
to
is
call out
anyone,
math. I'm sure
is
there
anyone
are-
else endorsed in social studies besides Alyssa?
What?
You're endorsed in social studies?
Yeah.
Did this make, did you guys have an advantage?
I was close, but I wasn't.
Okay.
No, I thought
I
it was
went
worse
by
off.
the verbs, kind of, and so identifying and describing them, I was thinking.
Like you were thinking DOK levels?
Whatever, but it didn't go.
So I think, was that, who was saying that? That kind of goes back to it's not the verbs, right?
Not about the verbs.
It's not about the verbs. But they just told us it, anyway. Yeah. Okay. What I was curious is if you had an advantage because you were social studies people and this is a world you've lived in.
I felt worse about it. I felt like it.
Okay, did anyone get more than 2? Right? 2 of the list? Because we got 2.
I did well, but it was just.
Okay. So you're a good reader. You're a good thinker.
We got one. Right.
All right, slide down and we'll do the next part. And I'm not sure. Oh, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I'm so sorry. I'm not going to be able to slide that down. Maybe, maybe. Oh, I did. Better than I thought. This should be super easy because it's for first grade. What's that?
I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Write a progression.
We're making our own of this, right?
For what? I don't
For the
understand.
standard. That's a standard.
Where was our example of the progression? Is that what this was?
Yeah.
So based on this thing, we're making our own. Okay, but aren't I gonna like, focus on the vocab now? For my DOK. Right?
Okay. Getting anywhere? No. Did some people give up? Yes?
Are you gonna give me the answer?
Hey, be honest. Did you give up and say, what's the point? I'm talking about this activity right now. You gave up on it?
I did, and I was trying to rally myself. I hadn't yet, but I was
You're a
trying.
good student.
All right. Let's do it together.
Okay.
All right. Distinguish shades of meaning among verbs differing in meaning and adjectives differing in intensity by defining and choosing them by acting out the meanings. What's something we have to do? So define. What are we going to define?
Oh, it's two separate.
You can put it here too. I don't care. I'm just writing stuff down. We're working collectively on this because I think this is the best way to do it.
The last thing they're going to be doing is acting it out, so they're being able to demonstrate it.
So just because, look, 8 is arbitrary. It could be 25, right?
That's right. So
But
put down their spot. That's acting out.
Well, acting out could be first.
They couldn't act it if they don't.
I think their end goal is to act it out, right?
I think the end goal is distinguishing.
I would say distinguish is the first, the key verbs.
Or by acting out.
You can't act
Acting out is a way of the line.
Oh,
So I think what you're saying is this is kind of our assessment. Can they act out the
Because
verbs?
that's after the by doing this or this or this.
So just real quick, because this is the smart aleck English teacher in me, how do we act out is?
Stand there. But I thought the main goal of this was to be able to distinguish between.
Yeah.
Not to act
It's-
out. To
it's
act out is
connotation.
a manner to.
It's connotation, it's not.
Well, and like nuanced denotation.
Stupid me, I would use the actions to teach the word meaning.
There you go. Act out, distinction between verbs. Show me jump, show me,
Show me tiny, show me small, show me large, show me gigantic.
right, show me high jump,
That's how I would
low
teach
jump,
the word.
I don't know, something like that.
The action.
Okay,
Shirley made a comment when they used to do those
Call that
frameworks or
what else, what other things do they need here? Breaking it down. Look in this area.
So deferring intensity, like the level of the word, the difficulty,
So I don't need to get to that because I,
the very level.
you know what I mean?
So I'm cheating, right? I'm taking it off what they have. So understand, what about verbs?
Shades needing, like.
Yeah.
Of manner.
But you know, Roger, what I'm saying is, I would use total physical response and do it in one step.
Why
I don't
not?
need to go through 5 steps. I can do glare with
Angie, please don't. Please don't. Just got scared.
I can demonstrate tiny,
Yeah.
and small, and large, and gigantic.
Can you do glare again?
So,
And so, that's the way I would teach the meaning, so they're gonna, the intensity
Oh, sorry.
is implied. They don't need to know what manner and intensity are, because they know what the word means.
right, so I got the receptive.
Through, like I said, why take 8 steps to teach this?
It's almost like the.
Who would do that?
Me, because I'm a team
Writing is the
player.
other one, right? It's
Take
like,
8
write
steps to do
correctly.
that.
And that's the whole thing, like, write it correctly.
Okay, you guys did it.
Is seriously a standard with this specific, this is the standard?
No.
Just for yelling?
Distinguish shades of meaning.
Yeah? Wait. I don't know where they got it. I assume Common Core, but I don't know. So,
Why do we need 8 steps?
so the next one is,
We got it. Maybe 2 days I'll do the sizes and facial expressions.
look at this one.
They need to explain it.
I know, but you don't. They want it explained in that. They like lengthy explanations for something that takes.
And that's going to improve learning.
Yes.
Okay.
In their opinion.
Okay. Distinguish which phrase achieves the desired effect.
I guess what I'm trying to write. That's not a writing standard.
Like, I read that doesn't come into my brain at all. Yeah. Okay.
First grade.
Never diagram sentences.
What's that?
Did you ever diagram sentences?
Sure, of course.
I just wondered. 'Cause-
I'm of an age.
Well, okay.
That was
As
all
am
of
I.
all of 7th grade.
As am I. And so, understood you, student, just your subject, distinguish, and all the rest of that is one giant noun phrase, right? Noun clause, noun something, I parse it more. But distinguish all different kinds of meanings and stuff. You're just learning words. That's all you're doing, learning words. Because you're never going to actually make a spectrum and then decide which one you want based on all that nonsense. You're just building your repertoire of language.
We're done for the day?
No, now we're going to do the hard work.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Here, let me come back to you. Did I give somebody too many?
I have to.
Okay. Are you regretting coming here? No? You, what?
I did teach one period at home though, where like, if and
That's so kind of you. Thank you for sharing. You're welcome. Sharing is caring.
You'll love it.
Okay, so now you have this standard. What standard are we working on?
One of them. The first grade
Speaking and
one.
listening. I have an extra.
Oh.
Number one?
It's on the first grade one, you said, right?
So, yeah, so it's speaking and listening, a standard 1.
Oh, look at you. Thanks. I guess our room is right here. We can make copies if we need them. So FYI,
What's that?
if you need copies,
Oh,
we know
okay.
where the copier is.
I'm so glad you guys came. I got like the inside
We
thing.
didn't want to talk about it, but that's like not in there, and you just have to get over feeling bad about that. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, I didn't pass out the right number. Can you check how many I gave you? There we go. All right. Hey. So. I thought, so this is, we had to do the one from the book. I gave you real ones. You guys can definitely do something from your facts standards or your business standards. I'm just giving you what the language ones are so you can appreciate how hard these people work. Okay, this is what they, this page is what the book had. Where you're supposed to take the standard and break it down and demonstrate you know how to do that, and then create some kind of progression for teaching that.
Hopefully in one step.
I thought, I gave you this it's called the vertical alignment, so that you can see what kindergartners are doing up to seniors. The other part of that is in our standards, they go level 0, 1, no. Is it up to 4 now? 0 is not on there. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. And 4 is the standard, is whatever standard is for that grade level.
5, isn't it?
5 is, okay.
Yeah, 5
So,
is the grade level standard.
But we're doing the final one.
and then,
Like it should be a final.
I thought maybe 1 was kindergarten, 1st, 2nd grade level, and 2 would be 3, 4, 5, and you know, that kind of thing if you're going up to high school. But it's not.
Nope.
They're different. I don't know where they came from.
Is that what you're saying when I'm reading RF4? Is that with the 4? Is that?
Yeah, so RF4, so until you're in 3rd grade, let me see, where's it at?
Foundational skills?
Oh,
Yeah, reading foundational skills.
foundational skills are the, like, learning how to read.
Okay, and the next one says RIRL10.
So RI is for information, L is for literature.
10 is what?
Standard 10.
Standard 10.
Standards is, like if I'm looking at curriculum map for ESOL 1, what grade level do those standards?
I don't know. I'm being honest with you. So I haven't looked at it a lot, and this is something we can dive into more later.
But they're appropriate for ESOL 1.
Yeah, maybe, here, let me, okay, we'll practice this, and then let's come back to that. And let me pull up the documents, and we can look at it, okay? So what I would like you to do is, again, find your grade level, or pick a grade level for your table.
Because our grade level is,
So if I'm ESO 1, I still have to do my language arts standard, so let's
we're about proficiency level.
push it all in one.
I want you, just pick 6th grade or 8th grade or something like that.
I don't think that'd be.
Is that cool? And break down that standard.
That sounds more like.
Does that make sense? So we call it breakdown? Unpack, sorry. And then try to come up with a learning progression for learning that.
Right. So
If you want to do something you guys in your world or something in your world, definitely do that. Okay, wait. Sorry. My bad. We're skipping a step that the other groups are doing. The other groups are breaking down just a generic standard in language arts or history, and then they're going to apply it to their subject area. We just skip that. We just skip that piece of doing history or math standards, and we just skip straight to our standards.
Good.
You guys, these two tables, you're doing the same steps they are, right? You're looking at a language arts ESOL standard, and then you're supposed to learn from that so that you can apply it to your business standards or your fact standards. If you want to skip that, that's fine with me. We are doing great. We are ahead of schedule.
Yes. Way to go, Roger.
We can do that freshman.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. So this is what the book wanted. I thought, I don't get this. So then I found this, and the piece that's added to this one is how am I going to teach that? So once I figure out the progression, once I figure out my path to this, Cynthia, what was it now? I take the path to the...
To get to the, you take the path for the standards, and then the learning criteria brings up the light, so it brings it lights up the way.
And then once I get through the tunnel, I get to mastery, right? Something like that.
Yes.
Okay, I thought this was, if we could break it into pieces, this is what it might look like.
Yeah, the one at the bottom?
The other thought I'm having, have you guys seen all the pictures of the elementary schools doing the Disney, Spider-Man? Is that training gone to all of you?
I've seen it, and I think it's a
What did you pick
lot,
the ninth grade one?
to be honest, and I feel like it takes away from a teacher, like creativity of how am I gonna get there. I don't want to, because on one day, okay, I can say that this is what I'm doing, but really my students dictate what I'm doing. So if I write it down, and I'm going to be like having to stick to that when the students are not being responsive to whatever I'm doing, I'm going to change it. So I don't want it set on board. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and hey, I don't want you guys to write the progressions and then think you have to make some kind of poster and all this kind of stuff. It's not that. But I would like you to try and work together on it as a group and try to figure out what do you think the progression should be.
Oh, okay.
Great. So this one, I think I got it. I think I just answered my own question.
Oh, there you are. You're there. Yeah.
This is what's there. And so this is grade levels and this is proficiency.
Say it again. Integrating what?
Evaluate.
Yeah, probably.
But we're doing one.
No.
Oh,
that's
you
not
guys
what-
are supposed to do one.
I thought we had to pick ours.
No, this was just extra.
Okay.
Did you? Oh, you just chose it because it's smaller.
Yep.
Well,
How dare you? Okay, do what you want.
I thought you just said pick one from yours.
No.
Oh.
What I meant is pick 8th grade or 6th grade or 7th grade or 9th grade or 11th grade.
I guess.
Standard one, because it has the most
Too
stuff.
deep.
Okay, we're
'Cause-
already.
So you wanted us to do this first one.
It's fine. Whatever.
How many too deep?
I put my verbs under the name.
Come on, Mary. You don't understand concepts and skills?
Can't you
Jeez.
read? No one learned you to read.
Sources. Media.
So can we take these learning target, can we take it right off our curriculum map? We have one for the middle.
Rather than off of.
And I guess that would be like, I don't understand.
So where we got in trouble with these is that we didn't say why.
Okay.
So if you're going to do
This
that.
isn't saying why yet. I mean, we can add it, but.
Right. If you put those, do these progress? I don't know.
No, well, no.
They're each their own thing, right?
There's each their own thing, but I mean, if we're taking a standard off here, where does the standard go? Here?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because that's grade level, right?
Mhm.
So if we're building up to get there, we've got to start back where.
And you guys,
But these are or here. These
the
are
A, B, C, Ds and Ls, do those progress or they're just things also? They're just.
Usually they're just individual. So they're each their own big idea goal.
So you would have to
So
take
I could take one
A
of these.
and create a
Yeah.
progression to get to there?
Yes, usually.
And so this is the progression.
Yeah.
All right, but I might only be doing, if this is the standard, I might only be doing some small part of the standard.
My bad.
He said, can I take it off of here then for here?
Well, I just gave you this so you have something to work from.
I know.
Is it
But I
one of
wanna
those
work
here?
on Well, that's what I don't know, because I don't know
So
what
actually, that's
grade it comes
the
from.
next piece is for you to go back and look at do what you're doing. You're ahead. I just wanted to start here with practice, so you guys could work together.
Grading.
So you feel more comfortable doing this on your own independently.
I just take
You're such a good student.
So, okay, this is 11 and 12, this is 11 and 12, but can we go, so you're saying that these are like a marketing unit, and go down here and pick one of our standards? Is that what you want?
Yeah, ultimately, we want you to be able to pull your CDM and figure out your progression for your class.
Okay,
For that
so we
standard.
kind of did that when we wrote curriculum this summer.
Okay,
Is that-
so do these build on each other, or?
Yeah, because well,
So the piece you're missing here.
just
we
putting
are-
that in order.
No. Probably what you do is you do this and this, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They go together.
Mhm.
But not how these all fit together. Does that make sense?
Right.
So it's kind of the same thing.
That's what when we were writing it, we're like, we're just kind of rewriting.
Where we got in trouble for ours, I don't know who runs your CNA team. It doesn't matter.
Dr. Morale.
Okay.
CTE.
We're supposed to say define the plan product mix. So it's written, I can define the plan product mix so that I can. I don't even know what this is. So what is the student doing?
4 P's of marketing, so product, price, place, and promotion.
So that I can. Why is that important?
Oh, here.
See, so this is why, and they decided for the electives not to push it for language arts and math and social, the core subjects. They have to have it here because I've worked on it. I can do the plan project matrix so that I can plan a marketing campaign.
I can.
Wait. It's more than I can. I can
Yeah.
do this and why. So that's because, so that I can.
Okay.
And that's the new piece that's been added.
Okay.
That's why all the CDMs have to be changed. Is to add that piece every time you have one on this side, which these are, I can understand that.
Yeah.
So that I can, or so that I blah 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 blah. So that
Okay.
you have an idea of why, or
Yeah.
so that you can explain to students why this is important.
Okay.
Because this, so for you, it's like this is how we get more money off people.
Yeah.
So we get rich or die trying. Right? So you can always push it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, so why didn't they tell us this all the summer when we were rewriting curriculum?
They didn't know. They hadn't figured out what they were doing.
Okay. I thought this had been a thing for a minute,
They changed what they want.
So literally for minutes, probably was the thought. So I don't know. Jackie, I don't know. And I'm one of these people that I really want to know.
Yeah.
And those things are like, I like systems and understanding how systems work or don't work or where the breakdown was. And that's not always appreciated.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm kind of like that because I'm like, well, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
So, yeah, so I think my thought is they paid a bunch of money for all the principals to go hear Dr. Hattie, or they brought him in, which is lots and lots and lots of money.
Yeah.
The guy that wrote these books.
Yeah.
And he said, here's all these things you have to do to be good. And our district's not great. So we just pick something from this list.
Yeah.
And Teacher Clarity has all this support of books that have you doing progressions and all that. And so we're going to do that.
Okay.
And it's possible for us as principals and leadership to walk into your room and see that this, it used to be the I can statements were there was enough. And now we have to say I can so that. So that's the big added to this.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
That's just Roger talking.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
I don't have any knowledge, special knowledge of this.
Yeah.
What happens to, like, how do we make this happen? like they're scrambling. That's how it feels too, right?
Yeah.
Because you said,
So
why
like
didn't they tell
what
us
you
that?
asked me, a student would say, well, why do we need to know this? And we're just adding the why, so you understand.
Well, I think the progressions is a new thing.
Yeah.
Giving more thought to progressions.
Right. Okay.
At least it is for me, how I think through those things. And then the why.
Yeah.
So that when Bo comes in and says, hey, I see you're learning the marketing mix. Why are you learning that?
Yeah. Okay.
And we're not supposed to say, what are you doing? We're supposed to say, what are you learning?
Yeah.
And why are you learning that?
Okay.
Which seems like a fair question.
Right.
And
Yeah,
as you
makes sense.
go
I
through,
mean, yeah.
as you get old, I think they have a point. As a sixth grader, maybe you're not capable of doing that. Like, why are you doing that? Because my teacher told me to.
Yeah.
Because I'm being compliant. But by the time you're in high school, what grade do you guys?
Freshman through 12. Yeah.
So in marketing, it's mostly ninth graders?
Sophomore through senior.
Okay, so it's a little bit older. But by the time you're a senior, you're saying, well, why am I learning this?
Yeah. Okay.
And there's also that point where it doesn't really matter at some point. I'm doing this till I get credentialed, graduated, and that's enough.
Right.
And that's a lot for my kids because like personal finance is required for them to graduate. So a lot of their why is so I can pass the class to graduate.
So I get the credit.
Right. So then you're like.
So here's what like this is to you guys. This is leadership. In this case, the state leadership saying, hey, we have broke people. Maybe it's because they don't know enough about personal finance. It may have something to do with behavior or what they've learned in their community. So we can break that cycle if we just teach them personal finance.
Yeah, I think that's
like how to open a savings account. So it's this top-down thing, like this is good for everybody, but then actually asking students, what do you want to learn, is a different thing. I think your classes are interesting because their understanding of money is changing so fast during that time, because it's usually the age of relying on your parents to maybe first job, getting a little bit of money, having lots and lots and lots and lots of wants, whereas before you wanted toys, now you want things. I think that stuff's super interesting.
Yeah.
Is that addressed in your standards and stuff?
Yeah, well,
developmentally, that like.
I mean, I guess wants and needs, and that's freshman.
Yeah, but I'm sure you have students that come in and say, I'm sorry, I'm taking away from this. You have students saying, hey, why are we broke all the time?
Right.
Like, here's some rule book. Maybe we don't have to be broke all the time. I don't know if they think that way. Because there's plenty of teachers around that are super broke.
Right. My question that I get a lot is, why do I have to work a job? Why am I working a job to help pay rent? Why am I working a job?
Because they're helping their parents.
To help. Why am I working and all of my money is going to my parents to pay rent and bills? That's more of the question that I see in personal finance.
Okay.
Like, Ms. Fricker, why don't I get to keep my money? Like, why do I have to give it to my mom every single month? And that's more of like that's a very
family
deep,
dynamic.
Yeah, that's a deep question for personal finance, I think.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes
and maybe that I would feel uncomfortable.
Kids. Oh yeah, it's very uncomfortable.
It's like,
it's very uncomfortable. You have kids that
really
that are
I'll eat that up.
No, like her, if a student is like...
Because I would just say, how does that make you feel?
Yeah, then you have a conversation about...
Do you feel like your parents are taking your money, or do you feel like you are contributing like an adult?
Yeah. That's how I try to
that's good, yeah.
Because if I'm contributing as an adult, I feel really good about myself. That's why work is important, because you feel like you're contributing. Whether you get paid a lot or a little, right? When they do the people that go on disability or other forms of social welfare type stuff, and how they feel about themselves declines very quickly because you don't feel productive.
Right.
So there's work for work's sake, or there's skills to learn while you're working. But then you're talking about family dynamics.
Yeah.
And then ask them, is this how you want to live? Do you want to have to rely on if you have kids, are you going to rely on them to help pay the bills? And do you know your family's history and their relationship to money? Because money gets super weird.
And confusing, especially at this age. And that's like a conversation you can't have in front of 34 kids sometimes. Like sometimes that kid is like emotionally like invested in that, so you've got to step away. And,
So me and my 6 would just dive right into that.
Yeah. But for me, I've got to pull that kid away from 34 other kids to connect with that kid and really let them know that I'm there. Sometimes our kids are like, I want to talk to you, but I don't want to talk to you, and Taylor's going to listen to me have this
But you could do
conversation.
stuff that's not specific,
It's not
right?
specific
Oh,
to
yeah,
the
yeah.
individual.
It's
Yeah.
general. It's very
Because I would also turn around. Does your mom ever pay for stuff for you?
Yeah.
No, I pay for everything.
Okay, so your mom never pays for anything for you that you don't deserve. Just cause.
Just because. Just that
Because
little
it's your
attitude.
responsibility for having this kid
Right.
It's
to
just very interesting
be on the hook.
things that happen in a class that you're just not.
So the thing with, I'm fascinated by personal finance and how interesting it is, and I find, because I would talk about poverty and what it does to your brain, so interesting now, and your short-term thinking, and these kinds of things, and then talking about lotteries, and if you won the lottery, if you had all the money,
What do you do?
well, what would that change? And then the statistics that show you're happier,
Right, yeah.
some of that stuff. But again, that's me as an adult.
Right.
Not me as 14-year-old self. My 14-year-old self just want to know, how do I get money?
Right.
How do you get it? What kind of an account should I open? Where do I go to do that? What does that look like? Those are the three biggest, I think. Oh, and I have a couple kids. When you start talking about like juniors and seniors that want to know how to file taxes, so we always do a big tax unit and like walk them through the paperwork and all kinds of stuff like that. And then I have kids that come back in my room in the spring and be like, okay, this is what I've done. Does this look right? So that's really cool. That they're,
So you
like,
guys have a
really
real
taking
tangible
it.
class.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Whereas our class is a little different, right? We're just trying to help you along. Wherever you're at, we're trying to leave you better in English in hopes that you could do something. Whereas you can say, here's some skills.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't have general math skills, it's going to be tough in your class. If you can't run a spreadsheet, that might be, I don't know how that works in your class.
You can't do basic English stuff. It's even hard. Because you got to type memos and emails and communicate to people face to face. Sometimes that's really tricky too nowadays.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about that. Yeah. So.
Yep. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good session. I like it. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
Are you going back to West this semester?
I don't know. Sydney Ho
Yeah.
didn't want to sit by me
Why?
because I asked hard questions. Do you guys feel that way?
Good that you do that. I do. You do, but I like sitting by you.
Do you feel sorry for Becky?
No. I told her, I'm like, I'm hanging out with your hubs this morning.
Okay.
She's like, awesome.
Because the other day I wore somebody out, and I realized I wore them out.
We did that last year. We looked at okay.
Because there's a certain point where you just get tired of reflecting and having.
I don't think I reflect enough. I'm really bad about that. I need to sit more and just like, okay, what worked, what didn't work, what
So
do we need to change.
with coaches, I would say, like for me, it's very natural, just how I've lived my life. I'm reflective, and then try to ask reflective questions and learn from students or teachers or whoever. That's not a natural skill for everybody. To draw that out and get people to do that. And so when I'm with coaches and I listen to them, it's interesting to me. Because it's same as parenting. So there's the parent that wants to tell their kid what to do all the time, and at some point you can't do that anymore.
Right.
And you better start listening to what they're telling you. And it switches from being parent dictating to parent being an advisor.
Yes.
And then you hope they grow up and become productive citizens.
Oh, yeah. I didn't. I'm like, that's his point. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. I had no idea.
So he had to deal with this his whole life.
Yeah.
Like, why did you break that?
See, and I wish my parents,
What'd you learn from that?
My parents would have asked more questions like that versus being my parents were very hovery and very, very protective. So when I got to college, like I was like, I don't even know, is someone going to protect me to do these things? Like I don't even know what to do.
So you kind of had this shelter?
Yeah, I was a little sheltered.
To be honest with you, the person that got worn out by me was kind of that thing. Because the questions became, at what point do you, like my job as a parent, in my mind, was to develop individual, independent people. And not that they had to get there in a real hurry, but the easier I can make, or the faster we can make that transition, the better. The person I was talking to has grown kids and wants to buy them cars, and I was just like, let me think about that.
Yeah. No, that's
Like, what are your instincts there? Because I know it's, I don't know how it feels to be a mother, kind of. You know, I was a single parent, and so there's kind of this nurturing aspect. But that can be a disability too, which is kind of what you're kind of disabled when you got to college if you're not already built all the skills. So
my first question I asked my RA was, "What's our curfew? And do I have to be home?" Like, because I was so used to somebody harping on telling you, "This is when you got to be here. This is when you got to do this. This is the next thing we're doing." That was just naturally my first couple of questions.
So I'll ask you guys, do you think, like, when I dumped him at college, I felt great. It's like, this is your adventure, and you're taking it. But then I'm hanging out mostly with women, and they're crying, and like, I can't take it, my baby's gone. And I don't have that feeling. That's just not part of who I am. And so then I felt like I must be a monster, because I must not love my kids enough, or like,
No,
I
it's
think you
that
probably just
dad
felt-
side of it versus being a single parent trying to be the mothering too, but that's the dad side. Because that's totally going to be Nick and I, which I'm going to be glad and I'm going to be proud, but it's like, they're leaving me, kind of. Or Nick will be like, have fun. I'll see you on Dad's weekend.
yeah, you can call me for something other than money.
I called to come home and do my laundry.
Yes.
I was like, "Can I come home this weekend?" But again, like I was always asking permission. Can I come home? My dad was always like, "Just come. You can just come here. Like it's okay."
Still.
So she was there, and people who had really never talked.
How are you guys doing? I'm neglecting you.
No, we
She pulled them in.
No, they weren't ready. So we trade these things around, and I'm like, ooh, that's, I don't know. So I didn't have a high level of confidence in that. And then you send them off, and they do internal item review, right? So all those test people will do their thing. So I did item review as well. I looked at speaking and listening ones, and they sent me back some that I had written, but they had drastically changed, and I thought far for worse. It's like, no, that's not what that was supposed to be. That's not how I wrote that. That's not even the right standard. You're attaching it to this.
Okay, I'm going to pull us back together just to get through this.
And I have no idea what
there's a graphic organizer should be on your screen now.
Learning progression?
Yes.
The learning progression. Hey, does that help you?
What is that?
It's all the same. I know I'm being highly critical. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's the doctor brain. Like, I'm highly critical of this. This learning progression thing, look at it.
Doesn't mean anything to me.
They change colors though.
I guess what it is if I gave this to my students, they had no idea what I was giving them. Whereas I felt like this kind of makes sense, sort of.
Yeah, that would be good. That would have been helpful this summer. That would be nice this summer.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. Wait, I talked to business, and I didn't talk to you guys as much. On your CDMs, typically, was there some kind of progression to them? We just put standards and I can statements, and now we say I can so that I can do this, or because of this, or so we add a why. We answer the why. That's our big development on those. But I never really thought about progressions built into our CDMs. Because we kind of have the standard, and then teachers do whatever they have to get to that standard or something
And I
like
think
that.
that's going to vary from teacher to teacher, sort of task to task, because the standards are kind of broad, and you're taking out one thing out of everything you're working on, and the learning progression.
And they're meant to be broad. Yeah.
Depending on what you know, the background knowledge already is, and if you have to teach
Anyway,
them.
I guess my problem with this actual graphic organizer is progression for me means moving up, and this just means like laterally moving around, and like I feel like progressions, my brain wants to have them logical steps or something like that, and that the picture doesn't show that. Like, because it doesn't show how the learning progressions are connected to me. The other part I understand, right? But, yeah. Let me, oops. Who wrote all over my board? Anyway. Do you see why I don't get invited to the meetings where they plan these things? What's on your board? Or what's on? Okay, as you were doing the progressions, what did you notice and what do you wonder? These are those reflective questions. And hey, this is just going to me. It's not something I send on the ladder.
That was what we just did.
I gave you page 15, right?
Page 15 is.
Oh, I'm way behind, right? Which one is page 15? I thought that was the one that had the standard with the progressions underneath it. Is that wrong?
15 is this.
Oh, yeah, I'm behind. Sorry. We're past that. It was this page on the use, create evidence.
You don't want us to comment on this?
Go ahead and comment. Make all the comments. It helps me. I'm doing formative assessments. I just kind of want to know where you guys are at with stuff. I'm sorry I'm out of whack here. I may have put too many components in and too many PDFs, and it could be tighter.
Song has got like 15 verses and 3 choruses.
Yeah, so I knew I had to do I knew I had to do 5 of the verses, and then I thought of 10 more, and then while I'm up here, I'm thinking of other ones, and I forget those, and that's kind of how my brain works. Oh yeah, I'm on the slides. I'm behind. Okay, I'm gonna move on. Sorry. The other thing is, once we're finished with the session, I'll end the session and it'll all get sent to you. So you'll see your responses to the questions if you want to go back and look at them.
I like those more. I like hearing the teachers talk what they should care about.
What?
It's like the new career cruising.
Do I? Yes. As long as you. Oh no, this should be fun. As long as you signed in with Google, right? Yeah. It knows who you are. I know, Susie. I know who you are. And Susie, your snark will never match another person in here's snark.
Are we talking Ms. Ramsey?
No, they're sweet.
I said I'm wondering.
You're sweet too. And salty. All right. You're fine. It'll be okay.
Just go, click, click, click. Just answer that. Oh, we just answered.
What did you just answer?
What challenge will develop? This is what we were trying to do.
Is this what you did?
Yeah. Just click through it. We did this. Trying to help you.
It's like a Russian roulette.
All right.
We've seen this one already.
Yeah, we did this one.
I didn't even change these. Did you understand the examples?
Yeah.
Okay. Complete 2 guided learning. Oh yeah, that was the 1, 2, 3, 4 for this history and the language arts one. And then you applied the process to our standards. And now, hey, everybody gonna give me 4s? Is it 4s? You got it? Everybody got 4? Got it? Okay, if Billy Walls comes in here and asks you what you did or what you learned, you'd be able to answer it?
Yes.
Can you answer why we're learning it?
I like her haircut.
Sure is not an answer. Why are we learning this?
You asked me a yes or no question.
0.75 teacher clarity, right?
Yeah.
What's this one say?
Now what?
Oh my God.
We actually did. We talked about like things we would really teach and what that might actually look like.
Okay, again, this is only going to me. Are you actually going to use these things? This is the question. Write it on there. Yes, I will use these. No, I don't feel like unpacking standards. Shove it up the flat. Send it.
I literally wrote nah.
It's every PD for the whole year. Why? Because you just haven't made it through the book yet.
Hey, you're not going to get invited to the meetings either.
It's all right.
You can show them your glare.
Fine with me.
I like that.
Let's see
Yeah.
that show on the road.
Glare.
I literally jump back. So.
Synonyms for glare. Stink eye.
Yeah, scowl.
Although I'm not real clear on the difference between burn and scowl. I know past first grades.
Have them act it out. Maybe one has like hand
I don't know. Can you glare for a long time? Can you scowl for a long time? I don't know. And what's that called? Resting.
Yeah.
Resting mom days.
Let's not be sexist in here.
Yeah, I glare at my kids.
I don't see dads do that as often as I
What's that?
use that face.
Call my teacher.
According to my wife, I make faces. And I have to say, I didn't say anything. You didn't have to. I saw it in your face.
That's to spouse, that's not to your child. Do you do that to your child?
Well, I think she's making incorrect inferences.
Oh, okay. You're sitting there in the car.
I'm saying the same thing to you.
All right. Hey, we got to have,
And the mailman.
who we got to help? Betty Young.
Don't take it
Well, she
out.
doesn't know who I am. She thinks I'm you every time. So. Literally asked me how my doctor would go.
That's the real answer, Coach. I need a gold star. That was a real thought out.
You did?
Gold star for you. I tried.
I know how hard that is for you.
That's why I'm saying I need a
You miss me?
She still has to do
Positive
evaluation.
affirmation.
Well, this is the perfect, thank you. All right. Okay, here's what's going to happen. I think I can do this. I'm going to go back and put on self-paced, and then you can go to any slide you want, if there's more information you want to put on.
Okay.
Please take the survey. Our session was called Teacher Clarity. Do you guys know my name?
Yeah, I can spell it.
Redirected.
Click.
Form.
And
Should we put teacher clarity?
Anybody ever think I present
I would give you a grade evaluation.
yeah.
I don't have to wait.
Oh.
What are you going to put? I thought he hit rock bottom, but now I can see he's digging deeper. He's dropping lower. Okay, and you're on self-paced, so if there was something you wanted to add to or you thought about after you wrote it, you can go back through and change it. Or delete it, I guess. Susie. Sounds like you wanted to delete some of the stuff you put in there, those nasty comments.
They're not nasty.
Can I have a real presenter next time?
No, I never said anything like that.
My wife was presenting up there. She had one person. They're supposed to have 14 in there.
On what? What is it?
Low intensity strategies.
There's no place for it, though. Who was going to be there?
I don't know. They had 14, but it was two people presenting. Our two, like our baser person, and then her, and then the only one that showed up was our ISS dude. He's like, I learned a lot.
Pays the same.
Yeah. So I dropped by and got one.
Just FYI, no idea what's going to happen in January. That's our next PD. But could look similar to this. I have a feeling.
Oh, you're very.
And we did all right, time-wise. So now what I'm supposed to say is, now that you know how to do progressions and da-da-da-da-da-da, you're supposed to look at whatever CDM you're working from right now and develop some progressions for what you want to teach like in the next week or two. Yes.
At least this is.
It is.
Are you the one who created the video?
So, actually, well, yeah.
And
Angie, you're on an island. You're the only one doing your thing. But if you guys want to get together and work on it, that'd be cool. Sit here. They'll be happy to tell you. Hey, did anyone have anything they wrote on to put in the parking lot? This would be a time to do that too.
No, I probably added.
I wonder what that was. I thought somebody, oh, that must be good. So the website.